Alberta is in a new era of provincial politics. A historically reliable conservative province, they are once again experiencing something that was unheard of until just a decade ago: competitive elections. And it can somewhat be traced back to this woman, Rachel Notley. In 2015, she became the first premier not from the PC party in 44 years when she was elected Alberta's first NDP premier. Her stunning victory, which saw her party go from 4 seats to 54 seats, was widely attributed to a divided right, with a quarter of Albertans supporting the centre-right Progressive Conservative Party and another quarter of Albertans supporting the slightly more to the right Wild Rose Party. Rachel Notley served one term as premier, during which the Wild Rose Party and PC Party merged to form the United Conservative Party, and elected former Cabinet Minister Jason Kenney as their leader, who easily beat Notley in the 2019 election. However, after multiple public failures, Kenney resigned as Alberta Premier and UCP leader a year before the election and was succeeded by Danielle Smith, a former Wild Rose Party leader who made an earlier attempt to unite the Albertan right. Rachel Notley fought Danielle Smith in the 2023 election, seeking to become Premier once again. This election was close, but ultimately, Notley lost the election to Danielle Smith. With Rachel Notley now resigning, and Alberta firmly in a two-party NDP-UCP political arena, there is a lot of interest surrounding who could potentially succeed her as NDP leader in hopes of becoming Alberta's premier, and this will be an important decision for the party. Notley established herself as less of a left-wing ideologue and more of just an anti-conservative politician who came from the left. This is because she thought, and I would argue rightly so, that she could never win an election without making some sort of appeal to Alberta's oil and gas sector, which is the backbone of the Alberta economy. She did come out in favor of a carbon tax, but was also very pro-pipeline, which resulted in her being criticized by the federal NDP and other NDP premiers. The question is, will the Alberta NDP pick a leader who is more in line with the progressive policies of the federal party, or the more center-left to centrist policies of Rachel Notley? Of the 6 candidates, there is one candidate who has easily earned the most media attention, and his name is Naheed Nenshi, and he is arguably the most interesting candidate of them all, because he has no experience in provincial or federal politics. Nenshi was the mayor of Calgary from 2010 until 2021, and was famous for his so-called purple politics. He was very popular in office, and won re-election 2 times handedly. Nenshi was careful to avoid partisan politics in office, and barely ever expressed support for federal or provincial parties. He did endorse Notley in 2023, however. He wasn't even an NDP member when the race was announced, and he has been critical of the party he now seeks to lead, saying that Notley's premiership were years of lost opportunity, and that the party constitution needs to be modernized, and has even hinted at cutting ties with the federal NDP. He has stated that he supports the NDP because he views Danielle Smith as a threat to Alberta. The thing is, he has a strong electoral argument. Alberta elections are basically fought in Calgary, with the NDP controlling Edmonton and the UCP controlling rural Alberta. According to Nenshi, he is the candidate to unseat the UCP since, as an outsider, he could bring new life into the party. And an interesting development that happened as I wrote this script was that a more high-profile candidates that said that the carbon tax is dead, Rakhi Pancholi, dropped out to endorse him. She was perceived as a more centrist moderate MLA from Edmonton, so she was similar to Nenshi, but to see a candidate dropping out to be part of a different team shows that Nenshi may indeed be the frontrunner. Well, who else is running? Well, there are 3 female MLAs running to replace Alberta's second female premier. One is Kathleen Ganley. Ganley was elected in the Orange Wave of 2015. She served in Notley's cabinet her entire premiership and maintained somewhat of a profile during their opposition years. She said that she was willing to talk about renaming the party and cutting off ties with the federal NDP. She's positioned herself as like the middle of the NDP, strongly progressive socially, and in favor of more social programs than the UCP, but not far left by any means whatsoever. She has support from the base likewise, with 2 former leaders backing her and multiple MLAs. Like Nenshi, she is a Calgarian, which would come in handy in an election. Arguably the most left-wing candidate in the running is Sarah Hoffman. She was Notley's deputy premier and minister of health. Unsurprisingly, her campaign has had a strong focus on healthcare. It was under her that proposed healthcare fees were scrapped. She is widely seen as the Edmonton candidate, with her seat and base of support being in Edmonton. She supports rent control as well, and is seen as being somewhat of an oil skeptic, with her being more vocally pro-carbon tax. A quite interesting candidate in the mix is Jodi Calahoo Stonehouse. She is a first-term NDP MLA in Edmonton. She is the only Indigenous candidate in this race and has used this platform to speak about Indigenous issues, like a lack of clean drinking water in their communities, for example. She's also spoken a fair bit about environmentalism, such as the issue of Alberta's increasingly dangerous wildfires. Gil McKowan is somewhat of a stranger to politics and elections as a whole. He has been the president of the Alberta Federation of Labour for 19 years. This is quite important, as unions are a very big part of the NDP coalition in Alberta. Due to this, I'm sure that a McKowan leadership would put emphasis on such unions, although he would certainly talk about other issues too. So yeah, this is a somewhat interesting leadership race. Whoever the party picks could possibly determine the future of the Alberta NDP for decades to come. Will they pick a well-known candidate who they think can win, or will they pick a candidate that most energizes the base as a progressive alternative to Danielle Smith? Which of the candidates do you think would be the most likely to win? Let me know in the comments down below, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider leaving a like and subscribing, as it helps me out a lot. But apart from that, have a good rest of your day and see you.